Yes, the CS2 market is slightly crashing, a lot of investments are currently going down in price, but not all investments. There's still a lot of other skins out there that are currently performing very well and are showing great signs up on the market. Ever since the gold trade up update, I mean obviously the red skins have risen in price like insanely to 94 euros, for example the Starlight Protector, then it bounced back all the way down to 78, and currently it started to stabilize around like 85 euros, even to 90 euros as you can see here. That's an all-time high right here, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. I mean the update has been already out for a few months and we only just right now hit the all-time high, which just only shows me that this skin does have a future, even though it's still in the active drop pool. A lot of people are buying these, as you can see, 23 of them or 13 as you can see, which is kind of insane. They're probably doing trade-ups with these, because at the end of the day these do have really nice knives. If you use them for trade-ups you can get lucky. I mean it will be kind of obvious if Valve is gonna discontinue this case from the active drop pool right now. The prices of these skins would absolutely skyrocket, that's at least my prediction, because they get used up a lot, but that's just a long-term investment. Let's get right into the next investment on our list. This is the well-worn condition, the Glock 18 fully tuned. Yes, it may not look the best in this condition, but let me tell you one thing about this condition, that it's currently exploding up on the Steam community market. It has reached almost 85 euros, which is insane. I mean these floats are also not the best ones, right? I mean the highest request to buy is currently at 76 euros and 75 cents, which is not that high I would say, considering the cheapest listed is 82 euros. But I do still think that these skins are super demanded and people are still not able to open so many of these, just because you need to buy the terminal, which is also kind of pricey, still above that €4 mark, slightly below maybe. Obviously next week the prices will go slightly down, but not a lot. I think a maximum of 10 or 15%. This skin is kinda expensive. This is the factory new condition, the Farmer's Prime Conspiracy, from one of my favorite collections in the game, from the Control collection, which also has the blue phosphor. I mean obviously these skins don't get used up for trade ups a lot, because these are kinda expensive, costing around like what, 100 euros on the Steam community market. As you can see, these skins are not the most demanded and they're very volatile, sometimes selling for like 112 euros on the Steam community market, and the other day like for 160. Currently the cheapest listed is actually 170, so it's kinda expensive. I would not be buying them on the Steam community market, and if you still have these I will be definitely holding. Back in the day this skin wasn't also like cheap, it was always around like 25 euros to 30, somewhere in that area. Has risen to 100 to 90. We had also seen higher highs on this skin. I can't lie, this is not the best looking AVP, but this is one of my favorites for sure, and this is also the Battle Scout condition, a pretty bad one. As you can see it has a lot of scratches, but I would still be rocking this AVP just because it looks great. Also, it's not expensive in the Battle Scout condition. On the Steam community market, these have been sold for like 60 euros, which is not expensive at all, and it's also a direct trade up for the gloves. I mean, if you hit these Ultraviolet, for example, in the Battle Scout condition, it's still gonna be money, right? But I do not suggest you doing that, because as you can see up on the Steam market, these skins have slightly risen in price, but the next week prices could drop slightly below like 58 euros. That's at least my prediction. This is still a beautiful AVP even in the Battle Scout condition. And obviously if you can get your hands up on some nice conditions for market value, I will be going for these, because these are still very demanded. As you can see, like over 1,000 buy orders, and there's not a lot of these AVPs out there. Also, ever since the gold trade up update, I've invested into a few PP-Bizon's Judgment of Anubis. As you know, I've gotten like 4. And these usually sell for like 140 euros on the Steam community market, sometimes for cheaper. As you can see, over the time they have absolutely exploded in price, just like some other skins. But currently we're reaching new all-time highs yet again. The cheapest one listed is for 161 euros, which is kind of pricey, and on third-party websites you can find these way cheaper. Even though you might think we've reached new all-time highs for these skins just because it's not profitable anymore to trade up these, but I think some of the knives will also be rising in price. That's at least my prediction. Obviously the supply of most knives has already doubled, and we've seen up on the market what happened to it. A lot of high tier knives crashed up on the market, and in the future I think CS2 has still potential that some golds, knives and gloves could also be rising, just because it has demand. For example, the new gloves, they were kind of profitable because you could buy them in nice floats for very cheap on third-party websites, and currently you can sell them for overpay. Also, we're currently doing the M4A1-S Solitude giveaway. If you want to participate and win this skin, all you have to do is subscribe to my channel, leave a thumbs up on this video, comment something down below, and make sure that your Steam trade link is in your YouTube description. And let's get right into the next investment on our list. Also, finally, once the FIFA collection gets discontinued from the current armory, I think the Desert Eagle Serpent Strike from the FIFA collection, as I already said, will have a lot of potential. Generally, it's a very beautiful looking skin, and here I'm taking a look at some minimal wear conditions, because at the end of the day, there's so many minimal wear conditions in good floats for market value out there that I think it's definitely worth it picking these up and having them for the long run, maybe keeping them in storage units, because these look very beautiful and I would be using these myself just because they look super clean. All across the board, every single Solitude is currently slightly rising in price, at least the factory new conditions, for example, just like as this one, 0.004, which is absolutely amazing in my opinion. It's a perfect looking skin, and some of these are currently getting undervalued because the supply of these is kinda huge. Yes, it cannot be consumed, right, but I think in the future these will be still kinda desirable because these are all unique and it's kinda rare to get that one pattern that you actually want. As you can see up on the Steam graph, we've been selling for around like 30 to 20 euros, somewhere in that area, for quite a while already, right? But right now we've reached like over 40 euros. The cheapest one listed is currently like 39 euros or 40 euros, somewhere in that area. Also, the peak of these skins was like at 100 euros, which is absolutely insane in my opinion. We have dropped off to 50 and then even went lower up until the point where we reached like 29 euros, somewhere in that area. And from that point on, as you can see, we've rebounded and the price currently actually stabilized, so it might not be a bad idea to pick these up, or if you have these, I would be still keeping them for the long run, because generally the whole CS2 market is currently down and these skins do have a bright future. The Glock 18 Gamma Doppler is one of my favorite Glocks in the game. I would never replace it with anything just because I've been rocking it for a while already. Unfortunately, this is the minimal wear condition, also not the best one, but this is phase 2 and some people enjoy the phase 2 way more. For example, me, I do enjoy this phase, but Emerald will be way nicer obviously. Finding an Emerald Glock on the market is not that hard, I would say, because a lot of people are currently planning selling their investment, so you still have the opportunity to go ahead and grab one, just because these are still limited and very desirable by the community. And it doesn't matter what year it is, these will be always desirable in my opinion, just because it's a Gamma Doppler Glock. Also, I wanted to mention the UMP-45 Continuum from the Genesis collection. Not a lot of people are mentioning this skin. It's definitely not the most beautiful looking skins, but there's definitely people out there that enjoy it. The cheapest it has been sold was for around like 3 euros and 80 cents. And as you can see, over the time it has been slightly rising in price, just because a lot of people started using these for trade-ups as well. The factory new conditions also very desirable by a lot of people. Because of the new gloves, it can also spike up in price. That's just my own prediction. Make your own research always up on these investments. Generally speaking, I think the Genesis terminal could be removed in the future and some of these skins could reach newer all-time highs, just because not a lot of people are actually unboxing the Genesis terminals, yet buying the skins from it, right? They can go ahead and buy them for cheaper on third-party websites, which is absolutely insane and makes no sense, to be honest. That's why I think Valve could remove it, just because this terminal does not have a gold. I mean, it is also kind of predictable that Valve's next terminal will have probably some kind of knives inside. And one thing is sure, that Valve is currently getting rid of all the cases. The real question is here, can Valve make all the cases that we're currently investing in, for example, into some kind of terminals? If yes, it's a problem, but I don't really think that it can happen, because at the end of the day, cases will be always something special for CS2 players. And if Valve is gonna introduce new knives in the terminals, the real question is also, how are gonna all the knives perform? Are they gonna be still great investments? Are they gonna fall even more in price? Because for example, the Kukri knife Fate already costs like what, 200 euros on the Steam community market. In my opinion, it's slightly underrated. It's a budget knife and so good with so many different type of loadouts. And if you're interested in other CS2 investment videos, definitely go ahead and watch my other videos.